Good afternoon, good people. David from The Modeller's Friend with a slightly different video this time. Rather than an unboxing, as you can see, these are a couple of the bits left over from my one or two of my previous videos. The Hobby Boss Tiger 1 and the soon to be started Andy's Hobbies M8 light armored car. But as you'll flip back, you'll see that I've done I've done an unboxing video for each of these. So I'm not going to dwell on these. What I thought I'd do is do not an unboxing, because you know they can get a bit tedious after a while, but I thought I'd show you some of the tools that I use and some of the tools that I've come across that I find incredibly useful. But also there's one of these tools I'm yet to use, so I'm a complete novice when it comes to using this UV light and the UV putty. They're all by a company. Now, you forgive me, but I don't know how to pronounce that. Dspiae is Dspiae. So whether it's Dspiae or Dspiae, I don't honestly know. Again, comment whether I've got it right, whether I've got it wrong, and if I've got it wrong, how horribly wrong I've got it. So apologies for my pronunciation of that brand. But I've got three of their products. I know one is incredibly popular because several friends of mine in my various modelling clubs have already got it. And if you haven't, you do need to get it, because it's just a game changer for the way you can model. And that, again, I won't keep pronouncing the name. They're all from the same company. But this is a rechargeable reciprocating sander. As you can see, I've used it not quite a lot. I use it an awful lot. Pretty much, that's one thing you've got to watch. I'll come to in a minute. But I've used it on all my builds. You can get various different head attachments for various sanding options. You can go wide and flat, small and narrow. You can, if you so desire, even go curved, which helps on the inner wing of some of my aircraft builds, but also on the undercarriage of some of my armour. Again, you pays your money, you takes your choice. But I've just got, for the sake of argument, I've got the medium-sized flat head, and you can see to change the head, it's quite literally as easy as that. You've got a trigger on the back, it's rechargeable, USB to whatever that one is. That's my only gripe, and I'll come to that in a minute. And you've got a trigger, and you've got a recharge, and a status light here. It's 3 speeds, so you can turn it on. That's speed 1, speed 2, speed 3. Now, as you can tell, you've got to do that in a short space of time, otherwise it thinks you're turning it off. You can turn it off, just press it again. So again, you can see the speed. You can't put these on the wrong way around, because that is a shaped needle or shaped prong, shaped bit, end, whatever. And you can see they are at that. It's oval, as to is that. So you can only put it on the one way, but they do stay on very well. Your sanding sheet options, they come in a nice little pack, just like that. Various grades. You've got from 280 all the way up to 1200 in there, and you'll note on each sheet, or on the vast majority of them, they are adjustable or already like pre-cut. So you choose which one you require, peel it off, stick it on there, and off you go. Again, it's very, very likable tool to use. I say, with all my builds, this is one of my go-to. I think it's almost as important as the sprue nipper. You know, it cleans up your sprues, it cleans up your panel lines or your joint lines, whatever it may be. You basically, if you'd sand it by hand, you'd now sand it with this. It's a lot easier to use. It's a lot more precise to use, especially as it's adjustable speeds for your sanding delectation. The only thing it does do, obviously, because it's a sander, it does tend to leave a little bit of dust behind, especially when you go to clean it off and the dust goes everywhere, or the little shavings if you've attacked it with one of your scribers before, which handily leads me on. I'll just put this away so I know where I'm at. Hopefully I'm staying within the confines of the mat, so it's you're getting a good, worthwhile, watchable video on this one. And I am trying to cut down on my droning, monotonous drone. Talking of sanding, I bought this as well because I was going through what I felt to be a ridiculously large amount of these sanding sticks. Now, whether they're really designed for nails and such like, as you can see, obviously I'm fastidious about my nails. But I find that once they get clogged up, yes, you can brush them off a couple of times with a brush or some rough sandpaper or a brass brush. You can clean them off, but eventually they do get clogged and they do get smooth, and you do throw them away. And again, because they're flat and large, they're not that easy to cut. And I always tend to use the 400, the 600, and the 800, whereas they come in a pack up to 5,000, and I always end up giving them to my niece so she can do her videos on her nails, etc. She has a go at me for doing models about plastic kits, and I have a go at her for doing nails about plastic nails. Nails about plastic nails, videos about plastic nails. But anyway, hey ho. So I bought this. This, I'm not sure. We can look at that. That's a surprise. I didn't realise that. It's by the same company again. They've got some logical thinkers at this company, and I quite like their products. They're good quality. They're reasonably priced for what you get. As you can see here, they do come preloaded with about 20 pieces of self-adhesive emery board in each compartment, and they are colour-coded as well if you so desire. You can tell it's new. I've not opened them yet. So what I've done with one of my stickers is I've peeled some size brochures off and just stuck it on the back here, so I know that light blue is a 1000 grit option. So if you want to put the paper on, basically it does what it says on the tin. It's self-adhesive. You just peel that off. There you go. It comes off nice and neatly. That'll do for recycling. Now what I have found is the base on the holder is slightly larger width-wise than the paper. So again, if you're standing up to an edge, you want to make sure your paper's up to that edge, because if you sand it on this edge, you'll have a 1mm gap where you'll be sanding bugger all, or you'll be sanding a groove where you really want a flush finish. So again, the same applies to one of the ends. Make sure you just true it up to one of the corners before you stick it down. And once you've done, it's just as easy to remove and replace. And it's a lot less waste throwing one of those away as opposed to throwing one of those away. And it does work out cheaper to buy a replacement box of what are 30 pieces of paper of emery board there than the equivalent 3 or 4 sticks of 600 that you'd receive in a pack of those. So again, that's a very quick, and again, because they're boxes, you can choose which grits you would like to replace. So obviously you'll know which ones you use the most of, so that gives you the option to buy more of the ones you need rather than a pack. Let me just find the pack. Here we are. A pack of these that you can see comes in from an 80 grit up to a 1000. But again, that's, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 of each in there. So that, again, don't get me wrong. Oh no, here's the lighter the colours, the higher the grade. So there we go, up to 7000. Highly likely to use one of those, but you can see it's a lot of packaging, it's a lot of recycling. They're made in China, so it's a lot of logistical effort to get them onto my hobby bench. So that's why I prefer these. I'm sure these are made in China, but you can get a lot more of those on a container than you can of those. So anyway, I've done all my sanding, sandy, smoothly, shiny, shiny. Which brings me on to this one. This is something I've not used before, so I've not bothered with the unboxing, but it does come in a nice, like suede or velvet-esque carry pouch, so you can keep it nice and neat. And also all the colours yeah, they're red. It's almost their brand color. And this is a desktop vacuum cleaner. Again, rechargeable. I'm sure, like me, once you've been sanding and planing and grinding, etc., you get a lot of this stuff left around on your bench. And what I used to do was scrape it up just like that. Scrape it off the end of the table, into my hand, and then into the bin. Which you can argue, well, why don't you carry on doing that, David? It's free. Yes, I hear you. I do hear you. But this was getting a little bit silly after a while. And it was just getting a little bit unmanageable. And I just like a clean work area. Or as clean as I can possibly have it. So, I've invested in this. I'm a good believer in quality. As you say, quality lasts long after the price is forgotten. It's not the cheapest, but again, you get what you pay for. And this is a rechargeable desktop vacuum cleaner. You've got a filter in there, which you can come out and give a blast with an airbrush off here or an air gun off your compressor. That just fits in there. Screws and clips back into place, and you've got a selection of nozzles. You can use it as is, just from there. You can use a longer nozzle, which again just fits in there, so you can use it as in. You can use it for your car, actually. It's that powerful that you could use it in your car. And then you've got a brush attachment, if you so desire, clips in the end there. So what I'll do, I'll take that off for now. I'm just going to vacuum this up. You have to hold the trigger down, and it will work. Again, you can hear that. It is twin speed. So if you want to go up again, just press it again. Hopefully that you heard that come up. And just watching that, I've got a nice clean work area. I'll just do around the other areas whilst I'm looking. And then just turn it off. See, it even picks up one of my cotton buds off the side. It's say, for what it is, it's a pretty powerful bit of kit. So you just undo that and you'll see in there, hopefully, all the muck that I've just picked up. There it is, all there. Look. All the hairs, all the shavings, all the sanding. And it's as easy as that. I mean, you can empty that in the bin. So what it means is you don't have to do it constantly. You can do it until the bag is full, or until the clear visible dust box or dust bowl, if you want, whatever you want to call it, is full. Then you can empty it. So again, press and hold it. Speed 1. Speed 2. And nice and neat. What it also allows you to do, you don't necessarily have to take that off, but you get this attachment as well. Little flexible nozzle thingy. That fits in the end. This is the exhaust fan. So you plug that in. If you've had to spray your model or spray anything, or just want to de-dust your workbench, again, turn it on. And you've got a dust brush. And what I'll do is I'll put those there. And you'll see quite a powerful little dust blower. Again, it's a nice tool. It's a nice thing to add to your arsenal of modelling tools. As I said, they're just nice to own. They're not essential by any means, but it's once you've used it, you'll keep using it. I promise you that. I know I will, because again, it just sits neatly in one of my cubby holes, ready for action. I'll charge it up as and when required, and hey ho, away I go. So again, David from the Modeller's Friend with the last item. Now this is something I've never used before, so I'm intrigued to use this. This is ultraviolet putty. I usually use this stuff, Perfect Plastic Putty, and I apply it with either a brush, either my big fat sausage fingers, or one of these silicone application tools. I prefer the black as opposed to the white because they are slightly softer and a little bit more flexible as opposed to the white, which is slightly more rigid. But what I tend to do is just open it up. Let me see if I can find something plasticky that I can use to fill. You can tell I'm prepared for all these videos, can't you? Yeah. Come here, Tiger. You'll do. You'll do. Again, these joins aren't that great. So let's see if there's just something I can fill for now. Come on, it's Hobby Boss. There's bound to be something. Ah, that will do. Right. So just squeeze it out just a little bit on the application tool. That's all you need. And then just apply it as you go. It's a little bit messy, but hey, isn't it always? The best things in life are messy. The messier, the better. But I'm sure if you really want to go looking, you can find websites for that sort of thing. Here at the Modeller's Friend, we don't condone that, but whatever floats your boat. As I always say, I'll try anything once, twice if I like it. But there's a rough idea. Just you can remove the excess as you go, but because it's a water-based product, you've got to now wait for that to dry. Okay, that's what I usually use. And again, I've got nothing against it. It's a nice product, a bit messy. The cap or the tube always dispenses more than I use or need, and it always oozes out throughout the side, as you can see there. So it's always an excess cleanup before I put that one away. But I say I'm not dissing or knocking that product in any way. It is a nice product to use. I use it a lot. But needs must, as Blackadder says, needs must when the devil vomits into your kettle. I want to try this stuff because whilst I'm talking, whilst I'm going on, whilst you're watching, hopefully enjoying, liking and subscribing and commenting on these videos, this is drying. But if it was all I was doing, it would be holding me up. This stuff, apparently, if you can get the damn thing open. God, dear, talk about childproof. I'm 53. I can use a knife and I can use it. Yeah, even though I'm cutting towards me, and yes, before anyone comments, yes, I know always cut away or cut down. So I'm going to cut down on this occasion. Keep your fingers well clear. Success, we are open. So this is Green Stuff World Ultraviolet Putty. Now, after reading the instructions and myself watching a couple of videos, this is what it is. It's in a light, airtight container. I don't know how this is to use. Oh, okay, that's quite nice. It's very similar consistency to the plastic putty. So let's fill the same type of join with it using the same tool. And away you go. Now, because it's clear, it's slightly harder to see where you are applying it. But it is going in rather nicely from what I can see. And whilst the white putty is still air drying, apparently now you get this here ultraviolet torch, which again is rechargeable. You turn it on. There we go. You can see it's on. You can see it's on my hand. It's on there. You hold it about 1 centimetre away from there. And you shine the light. Shine the light, shine the light, let it shine, just let it shine, let it shine. And a few seconds on there. And I believe that's all you need to do. Yeah, rock hard. Rock hard and ready for sanding. Whereas that one is still wet and coming off and slowing your build, whereas this one's now ready for the sanding where you can get the tool out. I didn't show you this one working, did I? So just very quickly, clippity only cut. Now let me go with a piece of one that's actually got some sandpaper on it, because it would help. As I said, that's how easy it is to clear nose. This was the largest flat one. Speed 2. And you can see where it's starting to sand. And it's all ready to sand. Because it's already cured. You can turn that up. 1, 2, 3. So if you are somewhat impatient, obviously you can use a clean sheet of sandpaper all the time and go for the most aggressive to sand it all down. But I like taking my time. You can see that's coming through already. It's doing a nice job. I can't touch that yet because that's wet. All that would do is clog the sandpaper up and not get me anywhere else, whereas that will sand nicely. And you saw how quickly in real time that took me to do. So yeah, a thumbs up for that. Well, to be perfectly honest, a thumbs up for all of these products, apart from the Hobby Boss tank. But if you want to know what I really think of that, watch one of my previous videos. So anyway, that's David from The Modeler's Friend. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting my videos. It is hugely appreciated. And I do hope you're finding these useful, informative, and to a certain extent educational, if you will. So yes, that's me signing off. I'm going to try and keep this as short as I possibly can. So David from The Modeler's Friend signing off. Happy modelling, whatever genre of modelling you are currently building or interested in. Just keep doing it. Thank you very much, my friends. Bye for now.